Uh, Good evening, Namaste, hi everyone, hi SMS sir, and
Good
the
evening,
young
sir.
generation
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
sir.
sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
teachers
Good
who are
evening,
going
sir.
to, yeah, teachers who are going to replace Shetty sir in another 2 years. So Suyakta and Rishika. Okay, so welcome to the beautiful analysis session. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಈ ताज महल ताजमहल को शाहजहां ने आगे से देखा, पीछे से देखा, ऊपर से देखा, नीचे से देखा, बाद में बोला मजाक मजाक में बहुत खर्चा हो गया ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ತರ ಐ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಫನ್ ಥ್ರೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಂತ, ಬಟ್ ದ ವೇ ದೀಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡನ್ ದ ಸೆಷನ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅಮೇಸ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡನ್ ಆಲ್ ದ 5 subject till date, and today the 6th session, including one of the best thing which I liked is about self honesty, integrity, where I attended a couple of sessions where they said I did this mistake, I'm happy, no wrong, nothing wrong, at least, and I'm ready to pass on this to the others. No, that is really awesome. I'm so happy for it. So over to the toppers and the rankers, Rishika, Sima comments, Vyakta, but for the income tax and GST analysis, we are eagerly waiting for you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Hello, everyone.
ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ,
Hi.
ಹೋಸ್ಟ್
Hi.
Hi.
ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಬ್ಬರನ್ನ ಆಗತ್ತಾ? Yes.
Yeah. So, firstly, am I audible?
Yeah, firstly audible, secondly also audible. Continue.
Okay. So, firstly, taxation paper, fear tegbidi. First thing is take out the fear that you have. You won't believe I wrote this paper only for 90 marks and I ended up with 82. So, this is no doubt there was grace marks also awarded, but just to tell you that scoring high is also possible in this paper. Okay, nothing is impossible. So, firstly, taxation as a whole, I'll be covering both income tax and GST in general. For sections, when it comes to income tax, to the extent possible, remember, but those subsections, sub clauses, if you cannot, it's totally all right, especially at the stage you are right now. Don't get tensed if you're not able to remember section numbers. It is okay. It is absolutely fine. Trust me, even in the examination, no doubt it adds value, all right? But even when it comes to income tax, you'll realize that there are a lot of repeated adjustments and repeated section numbers. For example, in PGBP, if you see, the same 40A3, the same unreasonable payment continuously repeated. You remember those, it's more than enough. All right. And then when it comes to GST, section 7 to 24, I would tell must know to each and everyone. Okay. It is easy, guys. There is not as much sections as it is there in income tax. It's not in GST. Okay. You don't have to remember so much. So this is the basic. You can remember all of these. 7 to 24, compulsory. It should be in the tip of your tongue. The others, again, as I told, go through questions. All right. For the other chapters, you'll see the repeated section numbers. Remember those, it's enough. And then provisions, it must be the language of law. They do expect it. Okay, you cannot cook your own words when it comes to writing the provisions. And then study material questions are a must. All right. For example, in Jan 24, there was a question where Jan 25 rather. Sir, they had told slum sale. It was totally unexpected question, but it was actually a study material picked up question. So, if you see that study material picked up questions are asked. So,
ಅನ್ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ದೇವ್ರು, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನಾನು
ನೀವಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನೀವಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು.
ದೇವ್ರು ಆಯ್ತು.
Yeah, and then first question, I personally don't even see that question first. I go from the last because first question, first of all, lengthy. Then somewhere they would have played with it. Okay, some adjustment would be different. Something would be, tricky. So that's why I don't prefer solving the first question in the first itself. I read the others, go through those, write those, and then come back to the first question to do that. And then when it comes to TDS, suggested not to ignore it completely because it is asked with residential status. So that is an easy 6 marks that you get. And the other 4 mark is from tedious, which is absolutely fine. At least go through the caps material table which is given, which section, what provision, which section. At least go through that, go through the limits, go through the percentage, more than enough. And then don't ignore theory in income tax, especially. People tend to ignore the assessment theory. Don't do that. Okay. Simple questions are asked. In the end, the 10 marks is a simple, very simple questions are asked. You just have to go through the previous year questions and study material questions and you're done. You'll get that. Easy marks. And then for MCQs, go through case study booklet. As I said, costing and taxation are areas where they can play around with MCQs. They can, if they want to make the paper standard, they'll ask one difficult case scenario and you will feel the whole paper is standard. You'll feel like that. So in order to avoid that, go through case study booklet. I remember when I was doing my special adjustment book, I was writing it as I was seeing each and every case scenario. Each and every case scenario, I've written something because that is how it was. So go through that. It is extremely important. And then, as I said again, special adjustment book is extremely crucial, especially in this subject. It is, guys, the subject you're reading right now is an ocean. Okay, there is so much to read, especially in the previous day, you won't be able to realize what to read. And that is where your special adjustment book fits in. Any question or any adjustment that you feel you'll always leave. For example, ATTTA. Sometimes we tend to leave that. Write it down in your special adjustment book. You'll never forget it. ತಕ್ಷಣ ನೋಡಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಓಕೆ ATTTA ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. And then for the previous day, personally, I wasn't able to read a lot. That was actually because my law exam went very bad and that spilt over the next. So I was not able to cover a lot of syllabus. So what I would suggest is again, go through special adjustment book. There is ICI let us recapitulate in the end of every, in the study material, in the end of each chapter. That is also good. It is concise and almost everything is covered. Or caps material, if you highlighted the important points, go through with caps material itself. Totally all right. And then uh, if you are a person who feels confident, if you can cover more syllabus, start with GST. You will get over and then you can go with IT. If you are a person who feels, you can cover the standard topics first, I'll cover that and then I'll keep the easy topics later, go with IT. Start with IT and then go to GST. Then ensure you remain cool because this paper, no, I'll tell you one question in September 24 examination. There was this question on, I believe, carry forward, clubbing. It was a clubbing question, mother, father, child, and all they had done. And then they had told, mother, do it in old regime, father, you do it in new regime, and son, you do it in old regime. Now, if you see this question, you'll go mad. Okay, ಒಬ್ರನ್ನ old regime ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರನ್ನ new regime ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತಲೆ ಕೆಟ್ಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ. But if you see the suggested answer, there is barely any adjustment related to old regime and new regime. Only one or two, that's it. So just to give you that pressure, they've given that statement, but it has absolutely no impact at all. So all you have to do is handle your pressure well, okay, and read the question completely. Because especially regime, date, and age. These three things should always be in your mind. Which regime it is, what is the date, and what is the age of the person. Is he a resident, and all of those, okay? Every question is important, so ensure you know that. And then speed is extremely important. As I told, I was not able to write 10 marks. More so because of the pressure. Again, it was just because of the pressure, nothing else. And then it is necessary to move on. If you're not getting an answer in income tax, go with GST. It is fine. Leave it there, go. Or go to the next question. It is totally all right, but don't get stuck here. As I said, speed is important. And if you're not able to move on quickly, you'll not be able to complete the paper. As simple as that. And then, as I said, be careful while reading the question and then give good explanation for each and every adjustment. I'll show you my paper itself. It should be perfect, like perfect explanation has to be given. That is when the evaluator will feel, okay, you know the concepts really well. Just fluke the amount, you might get it right. But if you have written the explanation, that means you're perfectly clear with the concepts. And then now going to the subject specific of income tax. So first of all, residential status have clarity. It comes in MCQs. Definitely one question other is there at the residential status MCQ. And then obviously in the question number 2, as I said, 6 marks straight away. Okay, easy. And it is an easy 6 marks for you. then don't ignore small sections. ಇವಾಗ ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಯಾಲ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ದಟ್. Go through the dividend, gift income, agriculture income. All of those are important. There is nothing like, oh, this is important, oh, this is not important. No, there is nothing like that. You'll have to go through everything. And then salary is an easy chapter. Just give extra importance on what salary includes for different perquisites gondirutte, HRA gondirutte, allowances. So go through that, what salary includes, and you're done. Okay. Then different kinds of like ivaga in study material there is tribal allowance, there is a lot of allowances. Okay, you don't have to worry for that. How can I remember so many allowances, so many limits? It is not required. Just go through the questions, as I said. If it comes there, then remember, otherwise it is fine. Okay, it's absolutely fine. And then for house property, carry forward of loss, there is a note in study material. Give that note itself, because they say it is not at all available in new regime. You cannot carry forward something like that. Copy paste the wordings in the exam, because again they look at the ICI language itself. That is why. And then go through. There is one question where one property is in India, one more is in foreign country. The sewage tax is deduction available for that. Those things are there. Go through that question. And then part of the house is SOP, part of the house is LOP. Go through that. And then multiple let out properties. He has let 2 properties, 3 properties. Those kind of questions are. Go through that. You're done with house property. All right. And then PGBP, need not know all subsections, as I told, just the frequent ones, 40A3, and then unreasonable payment. Those know it. Okay, that's it. And then be very careful while calculating depreciation and additional depreciation. New versus old regime changes throughout. All right, the 35 sections, it might be anything. Go through entire the new versus old regime changes should be perfect. And then capital gains, it is extremely crucial for our previous year. You all know this. The 23rd July adjustment was not asked in our attempt, so be careful. They might ask this very soon, and it is important. And indexation benefit for sale on or after July 23 for residential, it is only for resident individual and not for everyone. And maybe for the purpose of total income, you take the capital gain without indexation itself. Only for tax purpose, indexation is used. Those things. Okay, these small topics are extremely important. Note it down, you'll get it right. And then for IFOS, deductions are important. Go through the deductions. It might be for the dividend or pension. Go through the deductions that are covered under IFOS. And then don't miss clubbing. This is an MCQ prone area. They're continuously asking clubbing as an MCQ question. So ensure you do it well. And then TDS, there is one thing that I would like to say. If you are actually, you want to get it, then go through as many questions as possible. Don't read the entire study material of TDS and all. Please don't do that. It is not worth it. And then this is just one suggestion. If you don't get to know what this question is at all, TDS adjust ಏನ್ ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ 194C ಹಾಕಿ ಬನ್ನಿ. Okay, that's it. And then important deductions like 80 TTA or TTB or 80 JAA, ATC, all of this you must know. Go through those. And that's it for the specific part. Now I would like to show my paper. Sharing request is not good. Okay. So yeah, this is my paper. As I told, I couldn't attend 10 marks of IT itself. So I've got 19.5 out of 35. I have attended only for 25 marks. So this was the first question that I attended. It was on salary. I wrote GST first and then came to income tax. So that is why my handwriting is already a bit hopeless right now, because already half of the exam was over. The first mistake which I saw here is income from salary turksidini, because I had forgot particulars, basic salary anta I started writing. Then I realized the head of income I didn't write at all. That is why I'll madhya turkside income from salary. Don't do that. Let it be visible. Clean a conduct, income from salary. And this was one question which was very, the language was ambiguous at the end. The question was, opted out of default tax regime. Now, people got confused whether it was opted out of default tax or opted out default tax. There was no off word there, opted out default tax or opted out default tax. That is why I have done it in the default regime. Rishika has done it in the new regime. It was, I mean, old regime. It was totally confusing for us. All right, but it was actually old regime itself. I've done the wrong regime. This is not under default regime. This is actually under old regime. That is why they've given wrong here. Standard deduction under 16(1)(a), I've given 75,000. It's actually 50,000. That is why my income from salary itself is wrong here. So then show each and every calculation, for example, basic salary into 12, because everything was given per month. You'll have to show the calculation for each and everything. And then there was also house property here. I combined. Now there are various, so 2 units. It was actually, I guess, 4 units were there. 2 units was let out. So I combined those 2 units. 2 units is equal to 50%. Then I did this. You can do that. All right. And no marks have been deducted for those things. And then deductions, show 24A at 30%. Show the percentage as well. Then deduction, working for each and everything is extremely necessary. And then do this A, B, C, so that in the end you can just, it is just because the evaluator can see where your final answer is. And then give working note as well. And then I've also given the working note for 10% of salary computation for RFA. Now, the next question was regarding gift income. So here, there was one thing. They had asked, the question was taxability and the reasons for it. So if I would have been smarter, I could have written taxable or not taxable and then give the explanation. But I didn't do that here. That is why probably I've lost on 1 mark here. So instead of writing like this, I would suggest taxable. Why is it taxable? Not taxable. Why is it not taxable? Right, like this. Here, the evaluator has to search my final answer. Is it taxable or not taxable? Where is it? Where is it? Don't do that. And at least I've underlined, at least this you have to do at any cost. All sections. What are you going to underline? Sections. And then is it the main answer you're going to underline? Not taxable or taxable. And the main reason for the answer received from a relative. This is the whole thing which you're going to underline. And then this was the question number 1. As I said, so what had happened was the time was, I was running out of time. I couldn't write the other question. So I was like, first I'll do the compulsory question. That is why I started with this. So again, default tax regime, old or optional tax regime, write both simultaneously. So this is all the, again, write the explanations completely. See, here also 40A3, everywhere you'll see 40A3, all these similar adjustments. Then 37, these are all the adjustments, everything. I was also actually surprised. I felt I've missed out on something, ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ, but actually I didn't do any mistake till coming to gross total income. After that, deductions have made mistakes, but till there, I didn't do any mistakes. And then show why did you less dividend in PGBP, taxable under IFRS, interest taxable under IFRS. Show the reason, give the reason. And then for okay, for here deduction, for example, now 3,60,000 family pension is there. Deduction under old regime is different, new regime is different. You can just show it like this. In default tax regime, 1/3 or 25,000, whichever is. Here, 25,000 you write. Then in this column, you write 3,35,000. Then old regime, 1/3 of 15,000. Here, 15,000 within the brackets. Then in the external brackets, 3,45,000. This is how you can present when there is deduction and you're doing both of them together, both old and new together. And then this is where I went wrong. In the deductions part, there was actually no ATEEB. There was no loan taken at all. It was just a purchase of EV. In the examination procedure, I wrote off that the loan has been taken, and that is why I gave a deduction here, which is wrong. And then the royalty deduction also turned out to be wrong. So, and if you see my marks, they've given 12 out of 15. My actual total income is wrong. Deductions are wrong. There is so much actually not right. Total depreciation is wrong. So even if so many things are wrong, I've got 12 because that is how stepwise marking is followed in taxation, especially this paper, proper stepwise taxation. If you have done this right, you will get mark. Okay, every adjustment wise marks are allotted. So no need to worry. There will be, guys, there will be adjustments which you might not get. And it is absolutely fine because they don't, okay, unlike costing, maybe the same question, if it was costing, I would have probably got 8 or 9, but I've got 12 here because adjustment, it is not just the final answer that matters to them. It is about each and every adjustment. So ensure you are thorough with it. And then this was the last question which I scribbled. There was absolutely no time for me. So I haven't got any marks here. That's it from my part. Now Rishika will take over.
And one thing in that question 1A of income tax, they didn't ask for tax computation at the end. Only thing they wanted is total income. But I didn't read that completely and I wasted time in computing the tax. So read the requirement properly. So, okay, sir. I will be.
ಅದು ಅದು ಅವಳ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಿಡೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ. Then she was
Okay.
thinking, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನೇನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ವೇನೆ. ಆಗ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಹರ್ ಫೇಸ್.
Okay, so GST subject specifics. So first chapter, first thing, don't ignore it entirely. Questions do come, so around 3 to 4 marks will at least come. So don't ignore the chapter. The basic alcohol, liquor, the petroleum, only those part if you know it is sufficient. And from supply chapter, get the wordings right. Like off late, they're asking the entire provision to be written. In our attempt, they're asked 7.1c, the entire thing to be written. Like we know what are the points that will come, but we'll not know how to put into the answer. So learn that, and there might be practice some case study questions where they'll ask if it is a supply or not, some transactions. So that is important. And charge, this is most important because it will come in the first question also, and because RCM entries, and then it might repeat as a separate question as well. So focus on all the services that you know, obviously you'll have prepared, and place of first 8 chapters, you know you'll prepare well. Next 8 chapters, don't tend to neglect it entirely, because I know it is the weightage is less, but it is equally important. So if like usually the in 1.5 days to cover the entire IT and GST, it will be a hectic thing because you can't complete. Then what I suggest is revision notes that sir gives. No, that is more than sufficient for the last 8 chapters. Because I have been able to answer questions just by reading that. So if you don't have time, just go with it. Or if you have highlighted the CAPS material points, go with that. Anything is fine with that. And place of supply, it is definite question, 5 marks question, very easy to score. So it's like almost 2 to 3 pages of your notes will get you 5 marks. So don't miss that. GST is comparatively, as we feel, it is easy to score. So focus, like the day before the exam, just don't sit and prepare more for IT and such that almost one day is over and you're pushing it through GST. Prepare both equally. And then value of supply, it has 5 marks compulsory question. Like in 1B, it is usually asked. Go through good number of questions in this so that the add part, deduct part, you will get to know when you solve more and more questions here. And then about time of supply, stick to sir notes. You can present chart form itself. They'll allot you marks. Focus on keywords. Like it is not just date of invoice, it is date of issue of invoice. So if you focus on those small things, you will get full marks. And then ITC very crucial for first question. Go through all the blocked credit. Then also independent question can be asked. So get the concept right here. Exemption, it is very lengthy, right? We know the basics of it, like charitable institution, educational institution. Even if you don't read, we can write it. So focus on the small things like agriculture income. In our attempt, some kidney beans and all were asked. So the small things, the previous day, focus on that. What I saw was actually Dan ICI Saransh, actually in the Student Journal of April 2025. The exemption was given in detail there. So I felt reading that was easier than ICI Saransh. ICI Saransh, few points were missing out there, but there it was clear. So just go through once, whichever you feel comfortable. But the previous day, I ended up reading CAPS material where I had highlighted, because I sat and highlighted points just to read for 1.5 days. So plan your 1.5 days, like it is very crucial now. Focus on planning what you'll read in that 1.5 days. And registration, give importance to this topic. Like in out of 8 chapters, this is also an important part, because focus on compulsory registration, the turnover limits, because straightforward MCQs are asked here. Direct, whether he has to register or not. So it is an easy way to score. And for then practice questions, especially for time of supply, value of supply, and invoice related questions. And for GST, it is very important to go through the latest amendments, because direct questions are coming from there. So latest amendments is also important. Then that's it. I'll share the answer. So yeah, this is Suvyakta's paper. uh, GST, see the explanation, section numbers matters, and then he has not put line. Though, just see, it is small tips to save time, because if you are taking a scale, putting a line, if you are so much concerned about presentation, don't be. If there is clear demarcation between amount column and your particulars, that is more than sufficient. And underline the keywords, as we already told that. And what I would suggest is, if you are wanting to write the present it and then write working notes, it is time consuming. So fit, I know that is better presentation, but fit it in here. Write the entire explanation here only. It is fine if only one or two adjustments are there in the entire page. It is fine. Don't write working notes later. That will be time consuming. Show the amount calculation. And what he told was, the question attempting pattern. The SMS sir had told the exact way you had to attempt the previous day when he takes the session for 1 hour. He has followed exactly that, and he could manage time better than me, because for me, I attempted for 90 marks. But MCQs, it came to a point that I had to mark around two questions, just like without solving it actually. So it is fine, because in taxation it is time consuming. So plan how to save small time, like this. And then 6B has got 3.5. It is a theory question. So underline the keywords, leave enough space after each paragraph. And then this was the question I was talking about, 7.1C. We knew the entire content, but still we were not able to get full marks, both of us. So that is why I'm telling it is important to get the language proper. It is the this is where the marks have gone. Activities between related person and distinct person. Then see the chart form, they have allotted marks, so it is less time consuming also, and you will remember because you're used to it. The picture memory will be there, so continue with the same thing. Don't try anything new there. And then question 5B, the he has written 5B and then 5A, so it is fine as long as it is together. The entire question is together. It is fine to write B or A, whichever you know better first. He wanted to complete it, so that is why he took up this first. Value of supply. See, even if one adjustment is wrong, he has got 4. The final answer will be wrong. Just because he has got one adjustment wrong, he has got the entire thing. 5A, even though there are no columns, it is enough presentation. Clearly, demarcation is there. Underline the keywords. The same thing he has been repeating. And yeah, that's it, I guess. That's it from my end.
SMS, sir, you want to add anything?
No, sir. The point was, as Rishika was pointing out, the order of writing the answers, right? That is extremely important to manage the time. So, Adana, we have to focus on. That's very, very important. And presentation wise, yes, everything is taken care, sir.
Thank you. So, if someone can spotlight me, possible.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
first of all, I'll give a big round of applause to both of them. Brilliant job. 2, 3 points. Okay. By looking at the recent, what do you call it, batch, and the way we conducted, even SMS or you can spotlight, conducted the batch with the 200 pages book, you do not have to worry about reading anything other than 200 pages. That is a special book. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಜಿ ಎಸ್ ಟಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ವೇಡ್ ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ 200 pages ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಸಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಡನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಿಸ್ ರಿಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಲ್ವ. ಸೊ ರೈಟ್, ಸೊ ensure that whatever has been given in the ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ ಮೆಟಲ್ toward income tax ಅದೇ ಇದೆ. Everything is covered, nothing is left out, and rather covered actually multiple times. ಒಂದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಟು ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ which has been told, and I beg to differ with the Suyakta's view as far as one point is concerned. Income tax 90% of you start with the first question. He is a rank holder. Obviously, he has a choice of writing whichever question, because what happens, I being a rank holder, I want to get the best of the best of them. But I would obviously go with the for the second question, third question, which we are out of it. But majority of people like me, we are all average students, we should always go with income tax first question. Income tax. EST also, I think, sir would have told, follow, because ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 15 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 10 to 12 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಡ್ ಲೆಸ್. ಬೈ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇವ್ರ ತರ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಿನಿಟ್ಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗುತ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಡೇಂಜರಸ್. ಸೊ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ you are thorough with everything and you are very sure about the time management, then only. And I will also tell Suyakta and Rishika, okay, I don't know Rishika what she started. If they would have started the first question, they would have still written around 95 marks. 100 marks ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ವೋ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೇಪರ್ಲಿ ಐ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. Income tax, you must start with the first question. I think SMS also will agree, because I'll add less with reason. Okay. But in income tax or GST or any subject, wherever there is a reasoning required, main answer le kodi, bere working out beda. Alle kodi, because time sigodilla. Okay. Subsection sets are nenepitre okay, illadre bittaki, no issue. Again, whichever example, see again, earlier I used to say always start with GST first, descriptive. Now sometimes it has happened that GST would have been a little more standard than income tax. That's how income, vice versa. On the day of examination, you decide which fetches you more mark, which you like the most ಅಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಇನ್ನು ಮದುವೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, whichever fetches you the more mark, ಅದನ್ನ you should start with. ಓಕೆ, MCQs, ಓಕೆ, ಕೇಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಬುಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಟು ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇಷ್ಟಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆದ್ರೂ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು 5 marks you may not get. It's okay. 95 is excellent. Okay, and old versus new regime, look at the way. Yes, ಯಾವುದೇ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ they have not given table wise. They always go old regime first, then new regime or whatever. Whereas he has presented the way I have presented, and he still almost got out of it. He lost the mark only for something which is not done. So whatever we are doing is perfect and it is ridiculous to do something else. Athava, as I think one of them are told, or September 20, look at the way they have done analysis. This is the requirement. So where old appa maga illa. So ನೀವು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ 2 ಕಾಲಮ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ 1 ನಿಮಿಷದ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಪ್ಪ, ಹೆಂಡತಿ, ಮಗ ಎಲ್ಲ 3 ಕಾಲಮ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದಟ್ಸ್ ಈಸಿ ವೇ. ಪುಟ್ 3 ಕಾಲಮ್ಸ್, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್, ನ್ಯೂ ರಿಜಿಮ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದೇ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಬ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್, ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ 6 ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಟಫ್ ಆಗೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋ ಗ್ರೇಟ್. ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್, ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ. ಅಬ್ಬಾ ಲಾ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಟಫ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅಮ್ಮ ಅದಾಗೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಜಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಬಿಡಿ, ದಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್, ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಟಫ್ ಬಂದು ಅಮ್ಮ ಟಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಆಗೋಯ್ತು ವಾವ್ ಅಂತ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್. ಐ ನೋ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೇನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ರೈಟ್. ದೆನ್ ಆಪ್ಟೆಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪ್ಟೆಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ಅದು ನಿಮ್ದು ಸ್ಪೋಕನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ಆಪ್ಟೆಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಬ್ರೋ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪ್ಟೆಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಸ್ ಆಪ್ಟೆಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಸ್. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ದು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್, ನಿಮ್ದು ಸ್ಪೋಕನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಆಪ್ಟೆಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲಿ. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ನೆವರ್ ದಿ ಲೆಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್ ನೋಟ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ since the word opted out is given, I presumed it to be old regime ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ what Suvekta was mentioning. Opted out of ಆಫ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಪಾಪ ಆಫ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ, ಅದರಿಂದಾಗಿ again he lost 1 or 2 marks. That's okay, right? Then notations, okay, so to the extent possible, extremely important. ಇಲ್ಲಿ A B C ಅಂತ ಬರೀ A plus B plus C, please the valuer so that he will not call you again for the next examination. Okay, so ಟೇಬಲ್ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ 48 ಅಲ್ಲಿ 48 ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಬರೆದಿದ್ದು 40 ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, 3 ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾನೆ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ಸೊ ಅಗೇನ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ರೀಸನಬ್ಲಿ ಬಿಗ್, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ರೀಸನಬಲ್, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬರ್ರಿ, ಏನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಪೇಜ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಬರ್ರಿ. ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಯು ನಾಟ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರಿಬಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತೇನು ಸರ್ ಆಲ್ಕೋಹಾಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ GST, ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಲಾಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ 1 day ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ GSTಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ 2 days, ಲಾಗೆ 2 days ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ 1.5 plus 3 2.5, 2 days for income tax GST, next 2 days for law. I hope you understood what I said. Log 2 days ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, that should be the way. ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಜರ್ನಲ್ ಲೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನೋ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ ಲೈನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ರೈಟ್, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅವರ್ ಸೆಟ್. ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಇಟ್. ದೆನ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ವಿತ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್. Thank you. Special thanks to Suvekta and Rishika for the wonderful job for all the subjects. Even Venkat for I think Venkat 3 jana alva, 3 of you have done a great job, excellent. Yes, and thank you SMS sir. Anything else? Meeting end ಆಗುವವರೆಗೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಂಗಿದೆ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? Enjoyed, all of you enjoyed?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Reasonably covered. ನಾನು ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಎಸ್, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ಸ್, ಸಿಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ಸ್, ರಿಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ನಿಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ರಿಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ದಿ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕೋರಿಂಗ್, ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಫೇವರಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕೋರಿಂಗ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕೋರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ GST ಬಿಕಾಸ್ 2 subjects ಯು ಆರ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್. FMSM ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, SM ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್, ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲೂ 2 subjects